Hey YouTube, Courtney here from Heart and Soul Creations, and as promised, this is the how to color your white resin tutorial. I apologize if the angle isn't that great. I have you up on the ghettoest of ghetto of tripods. Maybe I'll show it to you at the end, but this is going to be a quick tutorial because I do have resin setting up over here. It's getting ready for its images. So I'm going to try my best to get this at the best angles and lighting and such that I possibly can. That's not going to work. I don't know. This is my ghetto lamp with no shade on it. It works better when I'm filming from different angles. But anyway, I hope you can see everything okay. So, assuming this tutorial is assuming that you do have a basic knowledge of resin, how to work with resin, as well as resin safety. You should always wear gloves, but I am not wearing my gloves right now, even though I should be, because I am a little bit allergic to resin, but not as much as I used to be. So I do suggest, instead of trying to find out if you have an allergy, that you do wear nitrile gloves. They look like this. I'm all about resin safety. So these are the only kind. You can see they say nitrile. You can find them in the first aid section of any local drugstore. They look like this. They're just blue. They're all blue. So yeah. Assuming you have a basic knowledge of resin, we're going to get into the tutorial. So this is what I use. It's not going to be like, you know, too long because I pretty much could have just told you, but in order to be able to show everybody at the same time, then I'll just do a tutorial. So this is tester's paint. I found it in the model car and model airplane and such section of my Michaels, I believe it was. I'm not sure if I'll be able to get it to focus. No, it's not going to focus. But up here you can see there's a red strip up at the top. And up here it says enamel. E-N-A-M-E-L. And you have to make sure that you get the enamel kind, because there is another kind. I'm not exactly sure which kind that is, but there is one more, and I think it has a black strip up at the top. So you want to make sure that it says enamel, because that is the only kind that'll work. Otherwise, let's see, you will end up with this. And this looks like a sponge. So this is what happens when you use the wrong kind. It will fluff up and it'll get huge, and your piece will just be a complete fail. So we are going to make 15 milliliters. So I'm just going to measure out 7.5 milliliters of my resin. And this is the amazing casting resin, the 10-minute curing. Now, it does take a little bit longer to cure when you use the paint in it, but I have used copious amounts of it before, like in my trinket boxes, and they have cured with absolutely no problem. It just takes a little bit longer to do so. So you just pour your resin in, and some people like to color one part and then add the other part in, but I just like to do it this way. It's just the way that I do it. Feel free to add your resin and then add your coloring, mix that in all together, and then add your part B or whatever part you didn't add the first time. So it doesn't really matter with this though. I don't know if it's more particular with other colorants when you use regular resin. But yeah, so what I'm going to do is we want a pretty pink color. You can achieve this hot pink color. I have done it with resin before with 10-minute resin. There is an update that I uploaded not too long before this, a resin update, where there is a pink piece, a pink heart with bats and skulls in it. So you can see, for an example, that you can definitely achieve this hot pink color. But we're going to go for a little bit of a lighter pink. So what you want to do when you're pouring in your paint is you want to remember that this resin does cure white. So this bottle's almost empty. I got to grab another one. It's kind of clumpy down at the bottom, so you might have to shake it up a little bit, and I do suggest wiping the top. I don't, and my lid always gets stuck, so I always have a heck of a time trying to get my lid off. So I have another bottle, brand new, that I just bought. It's the same paint. It has the same enamel up at the top, which is very, very important that you remember that. Now, when you pour it, you'll notice that it's pretty thin, so I'll add a little bit more here. So you did see that I added quite a bit of it, and I'm always excited to see what the color comes out like. So there might be a particular measurement, you know, you might want to measure before you pour it in so you could see exactly which colors you get with the amounts that you use and that, but I usually just kind of make it into an experiment. I love seeing the different color pinks that come out with the different amounts that I use. Look at my pretty ring. Oh, it's so pretty. The lighting is absolutely horrible, and I do apologize, but it's like 7:30 and the sun hasn't come up yet. And I haven't been to bed either, so. Because I love you guys, and I wanted to do this for you. So what I'm doing is I'm still mixing. I do feel the cup warming up. That's how I tell. You want to scrape the sides. Make sure you scrape the sides quite a few times. I actually got distracted talking, so I didn't do it as much as I usually do. So, yeah, scrape your stick off, scrape the sides again, and I could see it starting to bubble up. It's got little tiny micro bubbles in it, like itty bitty 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 ones, and if you do stir it for too long, it will start to burn your hand, and it'll get really hot. So I think this is just about ready. You don't need to mix it much. I just like to make sure that I have the paint mixed all the way in. So I'm actually going to do a bit of an experiment. I'm going to take a little bit of glitter and I'm going to pour it into my actual mold. Not too much, just kind of give it a nice little shiny coating in there. And these molds are silicone, so they're kind of sticky, so there's actually more in there than I wanted. We're going to tap a little bit out. So that one does have glitter in it, and we're just going to go ahead and pour right into the mold. I have 4 of them here. My resin is starting to cure already. This stuff cures so quickly, even with the paint. You can see it's getting sticky and starting to be stringy, so you do have to work very quickly with this resin. As I said in the beginning, this tutorial is assuming that you have some knowledge, a little bit more than basic, I would suggest. So I put this under my lamp because it's very hot, and I can peel it right off of this cup, so I let it cure inside of the cup. But like I said, you do need to have somewhat of a knowledge of resin, and you need to be able to work at a decent pace. You can't be slow. You have to be able to pour right in right away. So you have to have everything set up in front of you before you start and have it just all ready to go. So I'm going to let these cure, and I'll be back in a minute. So sometimes when I hit pause on my camera, it will stop filming, and I hate it when that happens. So I'll just show you some of the tester's paint that I got. This is a baby blue, and these are all enamel. This one is gorgeous. I can't wait to use it. You can't tell. Here, let's try like this. There you go. It's really pretty blue metallic, so I'm excited to try that one out to see if the metallic actually transfers with the white resin. So this one is green. This one's way darker green. And then I got this black. So we're going to try and see what we can do with the black. See if we can add enough to actually make the resin black. And I got one more. I got a purple too, but I can't find it at the moment. But yeah, so I'm going to check my pieces and I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm back, and the heart and the star were the biggest ones, so they cured the fastest. They're still warm and a little bit sticky, so they're not cured all the way, but for the purpose of keeping the video as short as possible and not getting cut off by my pause button, and also I have to add my images over here. So we're going to go ahead and pop it out. So I'm just going to peel the sides of the mold carefully away. You don't really have to worry about doing this when you use silicone molds and your resin is all the way cured. Also, I do not condone taking your resin out of your mold before it is fully cured. Do as I say, not as I do. Trust me, because if you are allergic, it can make you break out. So, this is the heart. And it's this really pretty pale pink color. Now, I'll show this in my next resin update so that way you can get a better idea of the color because, like I said, it's just, the lighting is just too too terrible right now, and I really apologize for that. But I basically just wanted to give you the idea of what exactly to do to color your white resin. So this is the one that we poured glitter into the mold to first, so I'm excited to see if this one worked. And I've done this effect with white without the paint before, so I do know that you can put glitter in your molds and then pour the white resin over it. It actually worked really well. I'm surprised. So again, you're probably not going to be able to see it too well. Oh yeah, you kind of can. You can see the glitter. I just dumped it in there so it's not really too even, but yeah, you can see it. So yeah, that's a quick and easy way to make a all one color glitter cabochon ring or deco piece. So yeah, that's it. All I pretty much did was use tester's paint and mix it into my resin. So remember how I told you that I bought purple and I couldn't find it? Well, it's actually holding you up on the most ghetto tripod ever. So here is the tripod. It's my glitter and my cellophane, and I actually have my phone like sitting right here facing me, and the tester's paint was kind of keeping it like steady. So yeah, very, very ghetto. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I really hope that it was helpful. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask and post them down into the comments, so that way, you know, if somebody has the same question, they don't have to re-ask it. They can just check the comments and see if maybe somebody had already mentioned it. Again, excuse me, it is 7 a.m. and I haven't been to bed yet. So yeah, let's see if we can get another shot. There's the glitter one. Should we pop one of these out? These are pretty much cured. Oh my God, this pink is so pretty. I love the color that these came out. It's so bright. And like, it's like a bright baby pink. But yeah, I'm going to turn these actually into rings. So I'll show them to you in my next update. So I appreciate you watching YouTube. Make sure you comment, rate, and subscribe. Hit the little thumbs up button and that big long rectangular one for more tutorials and resin updates and squishy updates and just all kinds of random fun stuff. So I will see you later. I love you guys. Mwah.